Launched in 2013, the BMW 2 Series was quite the pleaser. Its striking design, bold headlights and perfectly sized kiddie grills made many people fall in love with it. In fact, it nearly sucked me into buying one. Yes, I nearly bought one of these. Therefore, this review is definitely going to establish if I made the right decision or not. But first off, I'd like to give a shout out to the owner Amir for lending me his car so I can do this review. Believe it or not, this is his first car, which is crazy to think because I've never seen someone with such a nice first car. He's one very lucky man. Anyway, if you have any questions on long-term BMW 2 Series ownership, make sure to leave your questions in the comment section down below and me or Amir will get back to you. As for the model variant I'm reviewing today, it's the 2017 218i M Sport with the 1.5 litre petrol engine, currently pushing 134 brake horsepower and 162 pounds-foot of torque, all to its rear wheels. It will top out at 130 miles per hour and it will take about 8.9 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. I find these numbers quite bizarre as 8.9 seconds to 60 is quite slow, yet 130 miles per hour top speed is actually pretty high. Not too sure what BMW are trying to do there, but it is whatever. For running costs, your car tax will be £155 for the year as it emits 129 grams per kilometre of CO2, and your annual service bill, that's never going to be cheaper than £300 if you take it to a main dealer. And finally, the most important of them all, it's second-hand value. If you like a car similar to this, it'll cost you anything between 17 to 21 grand. Very expensive, at least for me anyway. In terms of what's underneath the bonnet, this 218i gets a 3-cylinder engine. Now, BMW call it twin power turbo, and that does confuse a lot of owners as they think it's twin turboed when in fact it's not. Luckily, there's not many engine choices to choose from, which is great, makes everything less confusing. If you like a petrol, you can get this engine, 2 variants of a 4-cylinder and 1 big 6-cylinder engine offered in the 235i, 240i and the M2. On the diesels, you get 3 variants of a 4-cylinder, which all do offer quite a lot of power, and also you could option it with BMW's X-Drive all-wheel drive system, which is pretty cool. As for the design, the rear 3/4 of the car is where it shines. It also shines against its rivals as there's fewer of them. And for that matter, the 2 Series continues to be the best small 4-seat coupe to drive, with balanced and entertaining handling courtesy of the rear-wheel drive layout. Onto the wider side of the car, and on both the exterior lights, it says BMW on them. I assume this is for the public to let them know that you are driving a BMW, just in case they missed all the badges around the car. As for the boot, there's about 390 litres of space, which is fairly decent. You get things like little storage pockets, tethering points, and a little lever for you to pop down the rear seats. The only compromise in the boot is that it has a narrow opening for you to put and take out items, but that's about it. Other than that, it's fairly decent. And now it's time for the least important test, and that is the rear seat space. Anyway, to keep this section quite simple, what I'll do is climb in the back of the rear seats and we'll pick up from there. So give me 1 second. Okay, I hope you can hear me, but it's actually fairly decent in the back of here. Like, I've got loads of leg room. I'm 5'11" and my hair is touching the headlining, but honestly, it's actually not too bad in the back of here. If you can see me, hello. Yeah, so it's actually pretty good. Moving over to the main half of the interior, and I like to say it's quite simple, nice and clean. However, it's definitely borderline now dated. Seeing all the new interiors that BMW are coming out with, it definitely makes the interior of this car look way worse. The only thing I can forgive is this gauge cluster because it's very classy, and it's of a time where BMW were actually making good cars. There's 2 cool features in the interior of the BMW 2 Series, and one of them is that it has a bit of ambient lighting. At night, these sections light up red and it looks very sporty, maybe too sporty for a 218i, but honestly, who cares? Secondly are these buttons that run along the dash. Now, these are actually touch sensitive pads, and if you rest your finger on one of them, it actually shows you what it's been assigned to on the infotainment system. Could be a radio station, or it could be to open your house gate, whatever you want. Another thing I love in the interior of this car is the M Sport steering wheel. Now, I did a video on my top 10 favorite steering wheels, and this steering wheel got the #1 spot, and I don't regret putting it in that spot because it's just so well weighted and it's fantastic. Just below the steering wheel, there's like a soft knee pad on your left side. So let's say you went on a track day to throw your car around some corners, your knees are going to be nice and comfortable and you're not going to get injured. Once again, great invention. Anyway, I think I've spoken enough about the interior of the BMW 2 Series. Let's go for a drive. Right, driving the BMW 2 Series, and first things first, I cannot believe how tightly bolstered these seats are. Like, if you're a larger person, I can imagine it's going to be quite uncomfortable. And you know, bearing in mind, I'm quite thin and it's still gripping the hell out of me. Now, I'm driving the car that has the 8-speed automatic transmission, and usually it does come with flappy paddles. However, the 218i has not been optioned with any flappy paddles on this car, unfortunately. These BMWs are the only BMWs that actually suit flappy paddles. All the other manufacturers, they just whack on a set of flappy paddles and it just doesn't suit the steering wheel. But anyway, even without the flappy paddles on this steering wheel, it still looks fantastic. So, you know, no one's really that bothered. So let me test if you could actually like redline this car, because usually if you've got a BMW, you want to shift by yourself. So if we just put it into manual mode on the gear lever, so slide it to the left and shift down for upwards. So we're in fourth, third, shift down to second. No, it shifts up automatically. I'm sorry, BMW enthusiasts. It does it all automatically. Of course, the 2 Series is way more expensive than the 1 Series, but I think the 2 Series is so much more stylish. I think it's actually worth the money. Now, some older 240i, 235i, 14, 15 reg cars are worth the same amount as this car, and that is literally the bargain of the century. I mean, with the amount of power that you're getting in a 235i, 240i for like 16, 17 grand, and it's very similar to this car as well. It's just, well, that is a deal, especially with the market that we're in. It's, you know, it's definitely, those cars are going to increase in price any time of the day. So this car comes with a standard drive mode. So you've got Eco Pro, which shows you how much fuel that you're saving. We are saving none at the moment. Great. And you've got Comfort, Sport, and then Sport Plus. Now that does turn off the traction control 50%, so not all the way. Can imagine that's a bit dangerous in the winter. But I prefer, you know, chilling in Sport. I don't think this car has adaptive dampers. I can't feel it go stiffer anyway. One thing I hate reviewing BMWs are because of these bloody stupid indicators. They just don't make any sense at all. Can someone let me know if they've fixed this in the new BMWs? I don't think they have, it's still the same, but it's so annoying. Anyway guys, what I'm going to do now is just pull over in a lay-by over there and switch over to point of view cam so you guys get a feel of what it's like to drive from my perspective. So give me a few seconds and I'll catch up with you when I strap my GoPro onto my head. Right guys, now let's go for a point of view drive. And what do you guys think of the interior, the 2017 BMW 2 Series? I think it's gorgeous, but it's definitely dated. It's definitely dated. This steering wheel does do a lot of justice. As for visibility, it's actually really good, to be fair. I can see a lot out the back, out the sides. It is quite a long car out the front. It's got quite a big bonnet, even though it's only housing a 3-cylinder engine underneath there. But you can imagine you've got the big M2 6-cylinder engine that needs to fit in there as well. So, you know, it's pretty crazy. The mirrors I love, especially that indicator there. Can you see that? Yeah, that's nice. Let's do a bit of a pull. So drop it, go into Sport Plus mode and drop it into second. Gee, no, there's no cars behind us, so let's go down. See how it sounds. Sounds alright for a 3-cylinder, to be fair. Now, where is this car's temperature gauge? Because I can't see how warm the engine is. The only thing I can see is the fuel level, and that's it. And the MPG gauge. Am I just being really daft? I think I'm being really daft. Now, this M Sport car has the cloth seats, and I am a big fan of cloth seats. Like, this car is done about 75,000 miles, and it doesn't look like it's aged any bit. In fact, the whole cabin in this interior looks pretty brand new. It's well kept. None of the buttons and whatnot have been, you know, worn off severely. Yeah, really good actually. Surprising. Now let's do a bit of an acceleration from 40 to 60. Let's see how quick it is. So foot all the way down. Takes a while to respond. Now it's definitely got a DCT transmission, because you saw how it just shifted 2 gears down. That's super cool, that. In terms of fuel economy, this car is doing about 41 mpg right now, and it's got a 52 litre fuel tank, and it weighs in at just over 1.4, well, just below 1.4 tons. So that's pretty decent. It's pretty decent actually. And so that's the in-depth tour and review on the 2017 BMW 2 Series. Overall, this is one of BMW's best sports cars, and if optioned with a manual gearbox, it would just be the icing on the cake. If you're considering one of these cars, your only real competitor is a V8 Mustang, but could you really daily drive a V8 Mustang? As exciting as that car is, probably not. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.